All right, so when we last left off, I said we were going to start going into conditions. All right, so let's talk about beginning conditions because we need to figure out when the ball, so just to refresh, we have a screen, okay, and our ball is touching the edge of this thing at some point, and we decided that was center x plus ellipse width over 2, okay? Over 2, all right? Whatever the ellipse width happens to be, it's ellipse width over 2, and that's when it's touching. The end is when that is the same as the width of the whole screen, okay? So when that equals that, right? But we said we can't use equals, and we'll talk about that next video, all right? Why using equals is bad. It's not bad in your diagram. If you have it in your diagram, it makes sense. Okay. So now we've got to figure out, well, how do we say this is happening? So we need a way to say, okay, this situation is occurring, okay? And we also need a way to say when the situation is occurring, do something, all right? That's a branching pattern. So really, our program is the ball moving to the right. Ball moves to the right. Okay. And every time the ball moves to the right, we want to check if the ball has hit the wall to the right. Oh my God. What a bad penmanship. My mom would be so angry. Okay? All right. If no, then ball keeps on moving to the right. Okay? Now, the interesting part, obviously, is if yes, well then the ball moves to the left. Okay. All right. So a question here is, what are we looking for, right? And some of you were like, well, we did this thing over here. So we're looking for some sort of equation with that. Okay, so center x plus ellipse width over 2. And we want to compare it with the width of this whole thing, right? Because that's where we're touching it. So we need comparisons, something to compare one side with the other side, okay? And that's where our comparisons come in, okay? And we've seen these comparisons before in math, and they're basically the same in here, but it always helps to go over them, all right? There's a few that are a little different. So we have our comparison operators, all right? And our comparison operators are, well, we can check if something is equal to something else. That's equals, not single equals, double equals, right? Okay. We can check if something is less than something else. Okay, that's the less than operator. That's checking if this thing is less than this thing. Okay. It's left is and right. Okay, so the left is being compared to the right. So if the left is less than the right, this will be true. Oh, and that's another thing. These comparison operators all are the answer to a true or false question. Okay, so you're asking, is the left-hand side of this equal to the right-hand side? True or false? Yes or no question, right? Is the left-hand side of this less than the right-hand side of this? True or false? Okay. And then we got other ones. You could say less than or equal, greater than or equal. And then there is this one, not equals. okay? So is the left-hand side not equal to the right-hand side? If that's the case, we'll return true. Otherwise, we'll return false, okay? So we can come up with some sort of expression here that actually depicts this situation, all right? Some of you might say, so last time I said we shouldn't use equals equals, and we'll get into that, but let's make the mistake right now because it seems like the most intuitive thing, right? When this thing is touching that, we should move the other direction. So what we could say is we could say center x plus ellipse width, okay, over 2 equals, okay, I'm going to erase this, but you've seen this diagram before. You have it in front of you in your notes. That's right, you have it in front of you in your notes. That's why we take the notes, because Ashok runs out of board space. Equals, okay, the width of the whole thing. And when that happens, when the answer to that question is true, or yes, or whatever, right, then that's when we get the ball to move left, okay? So this is that question. I'm sorry. This question is this, okay? I know it's really ugly. It actually looks better on the screen than it does over here, if you can believe that. So, and I know this is going through the 2. All right, so see you in the next video. Got a few questions for you, and then I'll see you in the next video.